Let's take a look at some of the cool all-age comic books this week for August 10, 2022. I say in the voice of William Shatner. Not really, but hey, it's Trey with Daddy Mojo. And there are some really cool all-age comic books coming out this week. And you say to yourself, where's my local comic book store? Just check out this website. It's Book Store Locator. I believe it's a .com, but if you just do a search for it, you'll also find it as well, and odds are there's a comic book store within 5 to 7 miles of you. Or, of course, you can order them online. And why are all-age comic books great? I tell you, if this is your first time stopping by, it is a gateway for getting kids to read. It really is. That's how I started learning to love to read, and that's how a lot of the kids I teach learn to love to read. Kids, for a while, they have to read. They have to learn to read, but then after a certain grade, they read to learn, and that's why reading is really important. There's my NBC moment for you. Let's kick things off. Hammer. Now, this is a really cool imprint from Quarto Group, and it's Saturday morning, Saturday AM. It's a lineup of new manga, and for the first time ever, I found myself attracted to manga. We received a couple of them, Apple Black, Segami, Oblivion Rogue, and Hammer. Hammer's out this week, and it's so enjoyable. There's something about the way it's presented that makes it enjoyable for those who don't usually enjoy manga. And I'll be honest and say I'm in the minority of folks that really don't enjoy manga, because if, like the 5th graders who I taught last year and will teach this year, they're all over manga. You'll see manga in their backpacks. You'll see anime stickers on their backpacks. It's great, and Hammer is no exception. It's loaded with action, retro action, as it were, because when you open it, the characters, they look like something from that Mad Men age of advertising from the 60s. But it's gorgeous. Even though it's got that touch of that Mad Men aura, it's got something undeniably modern about it that's really going to attract, I'll even call them middle elementary school kids. Some of the text might be a little bit challenging for them. It's going to be appropriate, just might be a little challenging. But you upper elementary school kids, you will look at Hammer and say, this is my jam. If you like manga, if you like anime, and are struggling for something to read that's going to be jamming, check out this lineup Saturday AM. It's from Quarto Publishing, and it is really good stuff. The Ghoul Agency. Now this is a publisher that a couple years ago could do no wrong. This seems to be a very good start. The Ghoul Agency from Action Lab Entertainment. Really fabulous stuff. And having said that, I haven't met it. I haven't read it. But that's okay, because it's got the imprints. And I'm kind of going by the history of Action Lab Entertainment, where they really produce some great all-ages stuff. I think this will be no exception. Plus, it's got the monsters. It's going to be great for lower middle school. Good stuff. Good, appropriate stuff. And it's a great example of an all-age comic book that's going to demo up. It's going to be appropriate for those upper elementary and middle school ages, but it's also going to be enjoyable enough to where you upper middle school and high school kids, and even you adults, can read it and not be ashamed of it. Check it out. It is the Ghoul Agency from Action Lab Entertainment. And, of course, Archie. Yay, Archie. Our neighbor is a girl. Their daughter is a girl. And she is Gaga for Archie and Friends. Who is the age for Archie and Friends? Somewhere between 3rd and 4th grade. That's going to be the really hot spot for these comic books. Where are you going to find it? You may find it at the checkout line at your local grocery store. You're going to find it, of course, at your comic book store. And check out that price point. Boom. Only $2.99. So that's a jammin' deal. Who will Archie choose? That's a mystery. Betty or Veronica? Team Veronica, myself, but that's just me. Cute stuff, and great that Archie and Friends is still around. Girls are going to love it. Again, You older fans may raise your eyebrow and say, who still reads Archie and Friends? Somebody does, because Archie has been around for 80 years. Obviously, when they get into the teen ages, Riverdale is still popular, and this is all ages stuff. It is not Riverdale. It is great stuff for those young readers. Archie and Friends, thrills and chills. Only $2.99 also. Gonna demo up a little bit. That's kind of what we're doing here. Demoing up. Venom, Lethal Protector. Now, Venom is a character that our 12-year-old absolutely loves. Man goes bonker for anything Venom. And this Venom series is a little more retro than the current ongoing series for Venom. If you're reading that, the ongoing Venom series is not really it's not as accessible for kids. However, this Venom Lethal Protector, if you're a parent who are, say, an old school comic book fan, this is more like in the vein of 90s era Venom, where Venom was kind of a good guy. You know, kind of just like, okay, I'm not really a monster, but please don't mess with me because I'll mess up the bad guys. Beautiful series. This is issue 5 of 5, and if you check this out, right here where it says it's a Marvel Comics comic book, rated T+. The way their system works is a little confusing and Byzantine, to say the least, but T+ stands for Teen Plus, so that means you teenagers. However, if you're a parent, I'm keeping it real for you, your child is 12, they can pick up the Venom Lethal Protector miniseries and be A-okay with it. However, this is issue 5 of 5. So, yeah, if you can find all 5, go for it. Otherwise, it'll be printed as a graphic novel, probably by December 2022. This is a new series that, again, you 12-year-old kids, you'll love. You parents may say, I don't know if I want my kid reading this. Judgment Day, Avengers, X-Men, Eternals. This is one of the tent poles. Every publishing house has their tent pole summer series. This one's coming out just a little bit late in late summer. And it's good because I like it so far. We really like the first issue and some of the tie-ins that have gone into this series. I like it because it's kind of a world-ending series that really seems like it's not just going to have a reset button at the end. And I hope that's not the case. Please don't let it be like some sort of dream sequence from Dallas or something. I think you'll like it if you're an older elementary school reader or middle school reader and up. And even you parents, check out Judgment Day from Marvel Comics. Also from Marvel Comics, Avengers and Moon Girl. A couple years ago, Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur had a fabulous all-age comic book series. That ended, I think back in 2019. That was a great series because it succeeded on its writing and its stories and just the sheer goofiness of it. Fabulous. Plus, who doesn't want to see a dinosaur wreck New York City? In the most complimentary of all ways. However, since Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur ended, she's been doing guest appearances. And look, hey, it's Avengers and Moon Girl. Plus, Moon Girl has her series coming out on Disney+, which I'm sure is in no way related to the influx of Moon Girl. If you're not familiar with the character, this is a series that's going to be A-okay for those upper elementary school kids all the way up. Again, you look at that crazy rating for Marvel, T+. Keeping it real. Parents, if you have a 9-year-old child, they're going to be okay reading the Avengers and Moon Girl. Don't let the rating spook you. It'll be fine for those ages. There may be one word or two, maybe it rhymes with bass, but take away the B and, tweak the pronunciation a little bit. That might be in there, but again, don't let that put you off the comic book. Haven't read it. There's probably nothing in there that's going to freak you out. Now, if you're looking at this list saying, wow, bunch of Marvel, that's just because there's nothing DC this week. There's some other stuff that is from other publishers, but if you look at what's up from DC this week, it's just it's a whole bunch of teen titles or those older titles. Nothing that really says, you know what, elementary school kids, this is going to be for you. The only exception to that, and the only exception is going to be their tentpole event. Let's see if we can find that very quickly. There we are, Dark Crisis. Dark Crisis, if you can pick that up, issues 1, 2, or 3. Our 12-year-old really likes it. But again, just by looking at the art, you can say a lot of this is not going to be appropriate for most elementary school kids. And that's where we kind of target this list from, in that it's going to be appropriate for most elementary school kids or up. Thus, we have this. Amazing Spider-Man. First, we're going to start here. Amazing Spider-Man number 7. Now, our 12-year-old has been reading Amazing Spider-Man since he was about 8. That just illustrates how ongoing and how consistent the quality is in this series. Yeah, he's like some storylines better than others, and since the title rebooted, like now it's on number 7, this storyline's okay for him, but he's in so deep to Spider-Man now, he's like, okay, let's just see what happens when this storyline ends, and this is a brand new issue coming out this week, Amazing Spider-Man number 7. I say all that because issue number 4 is being reprinted. And that's always a good sign when you have a comic book that's being reprinted, that reprints an issue that says, okay, even if you're not down with the storyline, it says something's going on in that series or with that character that says a lot of people want to dig into this. Let me see what the action is. And again, a lot of people like this series. We love this series. This storyline we're not crazy about, but it's reprinted well enough to go to a reprinting for the second issue. There you are there. As I said, we got some other publishers. We really like this series, and Boom Studios has some really great all-age titles. This is one of their favorites, and it's kind of I don't want to call it a reboot, I'll call it a rebranding. Even the movie from a couple years ago, the Power Rangers movie from a couple years ago, was kind of underrated. It still had elements of the goofiness that they're trying to shake. And I think they're trying to shake that just from a rebranding perspective by losing the Mighty Morphin just to go to Power Rangers. This series is really worth a look because it is appropriate for those upper middle school kids and up because it's got enough action, but it's the story that you're really digging Power Rangers. And they're on the way to, as you can check out from the issue here, to the issue 100. Not in a row, but in its canon, as it were. So it's worth checking out. If you're looking for something different, you're not down with really the superheroes and capes kind of angle, check out Power Rangers issue 22, because a new Ranger is wreaking havoc and destruction. There you are. Now for you, I'll say middle school kids and up. Predator, what? And again, you have parental advisory. This is a case where I would say, you know what, parents beware, but you 12-year-old kids, you're going to go mental over this. Case in point, our 12-year-old wants to read this, and he's never seen one of the Predator movies. He just knows it's a very cool villain or monster or alien. He knows the mythos, and he knows the intellectual property, even though he's never seen a movie from it. And I'll be honest with you, I'm kind of curious about it. I haven't seen the, Prey? I haven't seen Prey on Hulu yet, just because we don't have Hulu. Show of hands, who has Hulu? Great, you in the back. We'll catch it when it makes its way to some of the other profiles, streaming services. I've heard the movie's okay. But again, some of the Predator films, mainly the first one, to an extent the second one, they've embedded a bit of a pass, and that we forgive you for some of the mistakes. That's why I'm willing to give this comic book a shot, because just the character is so cool. Again, you elementary school kids, you won't dig this because it's going to be a little too violent, and will most certainly have a couple bad words that you don't want to repeat in front of mom and dad. However, you kids who are 12 and up, you'll buy this and say, no, I bought Archie, or I bought Spider-Man. Your parents will be none the wiser, but you'll really enjoy it. It's Predator #1 from Marvel Comics. What are you reading? Is it anything cool? We do a lot of books on the website, but we also read a lot of comic books. If you're reading a comic book that we need to know about, please hit us up on Twitter @DaddyMojo, or shoot us an email, Trey, Trey, @daddymojo.net.